All right, guys, in the past 30 days, I've made $167,309 by selling a full AI infrastructure and a service to local businesses, okay? And this is not by selling AI websites or AI chatbots, AI automation, because that, quite frankly, is extremely hard to scale to big numbers that you've probably been sold on YouTube, because it seems like selling N8N automations or GoHighLevel templates is the trend thing to do today. But very few people see success with that, and it's because it's an unrealistic model, right? And inside this video, I'm going to quickly explain a better alternative of what I'm currently doing today. And if you don't believe me with what I'm showing you here, you can go back 3 years ago on this YouTube channel. When I started it, I was 16 years old. I had absolutely no clue what I was doing with business. And ever since I was 16, I worked my way up, documented every single video pretty much almost weekly on this YouTube channel since then. Went from then dropping out of school, then to today where I'm 19, and obviously, you know, life is life now. So let's quickly jump into this. So the big reason I'm really against AI websites, I guess, is this whole trend, or AI automation, chatbots, all this type of stuff, is because you're simply selling a cheap product that's ultimately going to have you work with pretty bad clients, you know, in relation. Everyone knows who runs a business. Generally, a lot of the times when you sell a super cheap service, especially in the B2B business to business environment, you're going to get pretty bad clients. All right. It's just low ticket, right? Why are we going to go try to sell something that's $100? Because if you're going to go sell something that's $100, you've got to sell 100 people to just make what the person sells $1,000 product to just 10 people. You have to work so much harder, and not to mention churn, not to mention really you not doing anything. Like, you're just going to have to do a $300 job, which generally is not good enough to help many businesses at all. It's cheap. It's crap. It's kind of like slop. It's AI slop, right? So the better alternative, in my opinion, I kind of explain what I do. So while everyone in the AI space is chasing these thousands of, they're just chasing thousands of clients. They want to work with all these clients because their service is so cheap, they ultimately have to make any money, which is why most of them are unsuccessful. I'm building a multi-million-dollar fortune by simply being intentionally small, okay? Because I find small local businesses that sell high-ticket local services, okay? So this is not like restaurants, nail salons, these small local businesses that literally have like nail thin margins. Like, they don't make any money and they could never pay someone like me a high upfront service fee, right? But I do work with companies like roofing, med spa, all these type of, my company specifically, I work with stem cell clinics. So, examples with, I get roofing and med spa, like there's so many different industries you can go into. I think I wrote down over here some of the best industries, but I specifically work with stem cell clinics. So just imagine how niche that is. But there's kind of a lot of niches you can choose from, or just industries to choose from roofers to HVAC companies, pool builders, solar, landscaping, this kind of home service, or even professional services where it's like bookkeepers, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, law firms, etc. Right? And for me, I've just found it in, stem cell clinics, really, really good niche. And there's so many kind of sub niches in med spa, like, peptide clinics has been huge recently, TRT clinics, all this type of stuff, right? The whole point is they make a lot of money for their service, okay? But the issues that these businesses face is, number one, they have no one picking up the phone because they have a human that's generally, sitting behind a front desk that's probably pretty lazy, and it's costing them $1,000 to $10,000 per incomplete call because they sell a high ticket service, right? Just imagine a roofing company, how much a roofing job is that they miss, how much that's worth to them, or even a stem cell, clinic like my clients, for example. Sometimes their patients are $25,000 treatments. That is a huge, huge risk to be missing the phone here. Next is poor advertising efforts. They leave money on the table by simply not being in front of people digitally. They're not advertising. They don't know how to. They're older business owners, right? I understand it. And then lastly is business owners that are just overworked, okay? They lose a ton of time and money on tasks that they just shouldn't be doing. And it's just because they're trying to be everywhere in the business, as a lot of these older kind of business owners are, because they simply don't know a better solution. And that is what presents my opportunity. And what I've done, right, is I found this gap and I build them what I kind of call a bridge. I don't give, these companies a brick. And when I say a brick, I mean, let's say we were to go to a business and you were going to offer them one thing like a website template, right? For this example, a website template is cool because it sounds cool, right? But what does it really do for them? Who's getting the traffic to this page? Who's going to be converting the traffic after the leads opted in on this website? There's so many gaps that people don't talk about that the businesses actually need, and it's way more important than just some fancy little website template. That's not going to help solve their problems, okay? So I build the entire bridge. I complete everything needed for these businesses and my clients. So I first run AI ads for these businesses. This is going to get them leads, okay? And then I build them an AI voice caller on a platform called Retail AI. Okay, you can look them up on Google. They're really, really good right here. I actually was just at their headquarters in San Francisco 2 weeks ago as I'm filming this right now. I actually just posted a vlog on that on my channel. But I know they're founded really well. They do a lot of money, multi 8 figures a year, and they have an amazing product. They are invested by OpenAI, I think the OpenAI fund, and they are YC backed. Very, very great company, and they're probably the best voice calling platform software out there at the moment. And I'll quickly right now even show you guys a quick example of how this actually sounds. So I'll play this right here.
Hi there. Is this Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Thanks, Emmanuel. This is Jordan with Mortgage LLC. I am reaching out because you recently inquired about mortgage options. Do you have a quick minute?
Yes, I do.
Great. Before we continue, this call may be recorded for...
So you guys get the point, right? So of course the call play out, that's all AI. And most people over the phone, when they're kind of in a rush or they're doing things, they have absolutely no clue it's AI. So the whole point is I get them leads through these meta ads I run, and then I build this voice caller on Retail AI, the platform, and then I get leads here, and I turn these leads into appointments using the AI caller. As in, a lead will opt in through ads I make. That's all done through AI. Specifically, the tool I use for this is called ArcAds, so you guys can look them up. Really, really great platform. All you have to do is you generate a script, a script being 30 to 45 seconds long. You can have Claude or ChatGPT make it for you. And then you import it into the script and it will make you human looking AI ads like this. So highly recommend ArcAds when it comes to doing this. But the whole point is I generate leads with these ads. The leads need to be called up, and that's where the AI caller comes in. And this is generally a service you can charge $5,000 to $10,000 upfront for, okay? So let's do the math here, right? Let's say you're selling a $500 website, for example. You have to sell, 10 people to just equate to what the lowest option is that people would pay me. And specifically in my agency, I charge $15,000, $15,000 to $25,000 upfront, right? I have sales call recordings on my channel. I have client onboarding calls, that have paid $15,000 all on my channel, that you guys can check out as well as far as me showing my agency and my process. But a lot of people think they can't sell it for that much because they've been trained in this mind that they just can't sell high ticket. They have to sell these little small monthly retainers or whatever this is, right? That people preach on YouTube. And it's because you're selling them, you're selling the solution. You're not selling the outcome, right? You're not going to make millions of dollars by selling these little automations, okay? Or these websites. People can go to Fiverr and do this for $20 to people in third world countries. Like, let's be honest here. So that's why when you sell the outcome and you sell the whole entire bridge in the system, it allows you to have leverage because I make these business owners money. When I work with my clients, they almost become dependent on me. And that's where they're just like, hey, look, this was worth it because even if I make a 3x return on what I paid you guys, that's well worth it. I pay you $15,000, you make me $45,000, that's well worth it. And if you don't think you can make them $45,000, like I was saying up here, imagine how much money's slipping through the crack every single month with just having someone inconsistent on the phone when you can set up an AI caller to be essentially a receptionist for this business. Same thing with advertising. If you're not advertising, what are you doing today, right? Everyone needs to be trying to market themselves. And a lot of these business owners, especially the older ones, just simply don't know how. They don't know how to work on meta and all this stuff, right? Understandably so. And the average cost to replace a complete standard HVAC system, for example, is $6,300 to $14,700, okay? Right? With many homeowners paying around $8,000 to $15,000 for high efficiency, right? Or a micro needling session, right? If you were going to work with one of these med spas, okay? $300 to $400 per session. Do the math, right? Like how many clients do you need to really get these people to make a return? If you're working with these HVAC companies, not that many, okay? Like for me, like I charge a very, very high amount, but I also have a very high standard for my clients of who I work with. That's why my churn is generally pretty low and I can help them a lot, And this is kind of a very well-known saying, but the easiest way to make yourself rich is by making others rich, okay? Stop trying to save people time. The automations, the websites, all that stuff sounds cool. But when you realize you don't make these business owners more money by doing that, you realize you are now a commodity. And that's what people don't tell you on YouTube because it doesn't sound cool. Or I guess it does sound cool. That's why they do tell you it, but it doesn't sound, it's not good, right? It's not good long-term for an efficiency standpoint. And when it comes to fulfillment, the model I'm at today, and I kind of recommend, when you guys need to fulfill what I'd recommend, is your client will pay you money, right? Like the money goes to you. You use a fraction of that money to hire a contractor to do the AI developer work. So you don't even have to build this retail bot. Like I'm not sitting in retail AI building all this stuff. I have a developer who, funny enough, and I've known since high school, and he is super, super technically savvy. You guys have probably seen him on my channel before. Shout out Emmanuel. And, he builds this system. The service is now delivered to the client, and then this just becomes a cycle, right? And then this is where you get the profits. This is the basics, sense of an entrepreneur. You get paid by someone, use a fraction of that money to go pay someone to do the work for your client, and then that's, the rest is yours as profit. Now, if you're starting, I really do recommend you actually learn the systems yourself. I think it'll allow it to you have a better understanding and grip of your service delivery. That's of course what I started out with, but of course today I operate and manage a team and all that. So that's where I'm at today. But the whole point is stop trying to sell people this. I guess don't be sold in this dream of selling people $300 services. No one's getting rich off this stuff. All right. And that's just what no one's going to tell you online because it's a trend. It sounds cool, right? But it's just simply not true. Okay. Sell real sort of bridges, right? And solve the whole gap for these business owners and don't let them leave money on the table. Okay. That's the biggest thing I can tell you guys. So that being said, if you guys want to learn more about learning this direct model exactly from me, I have a one-on-one mentorship group that you can find in the top link in the description below. It's called my AI Agency Mastermind. I've hosted in-person events with, I think, over 20 people. Came out to Austin, Texas just a few months ago. Hosted it. It was absolutely amazing. Pretty much everyone in the group is working on this business model I just showed you here. And there's a bunch of guys crushing it in the group. I've had countless interviews on my channel before of people who have just jumped in the program, worked directly with me, learned from me, and are absolutely crushing it because inside you get pretty much all my scripts, my snapshots, my templates, and direct access to me, which is super, super important, where I do calls almost every day of the week, and you get my one-on-one phone number pretty much. So that being said, that'll be the top link in the description below. But that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys found this insightful and valuable. Please take action with what I told you here, and I'll see you guys inside the next video. Peace.